Guys, Ashley here, also known as the AJ League fan. I'm back today with a brand new video. It is early in the morning, so I decided to get this out the way while I'm up before I get my day started. Um, Today I'm going to make a video about the couples that should have been in game, and the couple today that I'm going to talk about is Amy and Ricky from The Secret Life of the American Teenager. It's really crazy knowing that a lot of people shit on the show, but if you really go to the ratings and even on YouTube, there's a lot of fans who actually ship Amy and Ricky, and I happen to be one of those fans. The Secret Life of the American Teenager is actually, believe it or not, it's actually one of my favorite shows to watch. I actually felt very entertained when I watched the show. Now, I know a lot of people think the show deserves a reboot. I think it does. I think it does deserve a reboot. I feel like it does deserve to have a better writer write it. No offense to Brandon Hampton, I'm not dissing the lady, but she didn't really know how to write teenagers, and I think she kind of went a little bit too heavy on the stereotypes a little bit in the show, and the dialogue sometimes was just like, what? She made the characters sound ridiculous. So I think it would be better if they find a writer who can actually make the characters make sense sometimes. The dialogue wasn't bad all the time. It was bad sometimes. Like I can't explain it. Like, especially if you had to ask me who I think had the worst dialogue, probably Ben. Every time he said something, it was just always awkward or just like what. So probably Ben. I think the people who had the strongest dialogue was Amy, Ricky, and Adrian. I think whenever they were acting, they made the most sense out of anybody. So yeah, especially Ricky. I think Darren was the best actor on the show. But this isn't about Single Teenagers. This is about Amy and Ricky and what I think they should have been in game. These are one of the couples to me that I feel like, why weren't they in game? Why did they never find their way back to each other? Why were they ended like that? And you guys know how I feel about season 5. Season 5 ruined this couple. Just having Amy and Ricky just second guess whether or not they want to get married, and just second guess whether or not they only are together because of John. It left a bad taste in my mouth, because I know that some couples stay together because of a kid, but in the case of this, I never once felt this way about Amy and Ricky. They fell in love naturally. It had nothing to do with John. If if Amy and Ricky wanted to be a couple because of John, that could have happened a long time ago. So you're gonna really sit here and tell me that they're a couple now because of John? It had nothing to do with John. Yes, John is a big reason, but they didn't get together because of him. They got together because they actually realized that they were wasting their time with Ben and Adrian when they should have been giving their energy to each other. And I think when season 3 happened, I couldn't be more happier that they found each other, because you could kind of tell the writers were kind of like writing this from the very beginning, and they were somehow going to find a way to, they were going to somehow date each other. We just had to be very patient. And then they ruined it in the last season. Sorry, I had something on my lip. I just couldn't believe that the writers ended them this way. Having Amy just, oh my god, Amy just lie about New York and lying about wanting to get married and this whole Ben stuff. I don't know where any of this just came from. I wasn't upset that she was getting an opportunity in New York. I hated that she lied about it for so long, and then she expected Ricky to quit what he was doing at the butcher shop, becoming becoming the boss in the butcher shop, just so so he can quit and move to New York and not do nothing down there. Not only is he a butcher shop, he's in college. He's learning how to have a business. Like, I just feel like they just had Amy acting out of character for me. The fact that she wanted Ricky to quit what he was doing to focus on her dream, I just felt like was just what. And and then they both decided that she could move to New York, and they'll just have to see each other via FaceTime, via whatever. he could come down there and visit. It's like, why would you guys want to be separate when you guys have a kid? 6 months without seeing each other? That's too long, especially when you're supposed to be getting married and when you guys have a kid. That just don't make sense to me. And then the breakup scene probably had to be one of the most heartbreaking breakup scenes I've ever seen. To have Amy just sit there and say that Ricky isn't really in love with her, it just, it really left a bad taste in my mouth. And I definitely think Ricky had a great character shift. He was so right when he told Amy that he devoted himself to her and John completely. He got a job. He's being loyal. He's being honest about his whereabouts, who he's seeing, where he going. Like she not I look on him like a mom, but he's not the old Ricky. He's a new Ricky. And the fact that Amy couldn't see that really upset me, and I can see that it really upset him. But their breakup was a big part of why that season sucked and why that finale sucked. But you guys know how I felt. Amy and Ricky should have been in game. I really feel like they should have had ended the show with them getting married, and then all three of them could have went to New York. But instead, we didn't get that. And then I heard Brenda Hamilton say that she decided to do a different version of the ending and have them get married anyway. Too late, Brenda Hamilton. You had all that time to do that. But that's how I felt. Amy and Ricky were in game. It sucks that they weren't. So I'm gonna pretend in my own fantasy that they did get married and that her, Amy, Ricky, and John all moved to New York and lived happily ever after.